Good evening, world. Welcome to Jules Word. I appreciate y'all tapping in. This is episode 45. I know last week I celebrated my year's anniversary of Jules Word podcast. And it's been truly a blessing. The journey, the growth, the elevation, the transformation, the transparency, the vulnerability, just giving and dropping gems to help us all along the way. This lesson for me also, and these are things I'm speaking of, not because I think things, because I've experienced these things. So this is episode 45, guys, and this episode title is called Balance. Balance. And when you think about balance, you're thinking about how you try to balance out the good, the bad, the highs, the lows throughout life, and you try to keep pushing. Despite what's going on around you, try to keep a balance of awareness, a balance of discernment, a balance of emotion, a balance of spirituality. You have all these different balances that you try to do and you try to figure out, try to keep in place when you're walking through life, through like relationships, death, work. You know how work can get sometimes, but it's always important that we remain balanced through all of this. So I went down a rabbit hole about this earlier this week. I really did, because when you're walking on this journey, you want to try to maintain balance through everything in life, of changing things that you don't like about yourself, things that you need to change that's going to be more beneficial to you on your journey to success or whatever goals you set for yourself in life, right? So, and I come to the realization that balance is not peace, balance is not comfort, and balance is not everything being equal. Because you think about it, nothing can be equal at the same time throughout life. That's one thing that people don't like to hear. People don't like to hear that. So the thing about it is you cannot be balanced in every part of your life at the same time. That's impossible. Because things come, things go, things be ahead. You may get behind on the bill, but hey, your kids got the outfit or the shoes that they needed for their birthday or Christmas, or a school program or sports. You might have to sacrifice taking care of something to make sure your kids are straight on their sports equipment and everything like that. So you can't balance every part of your life at the same time. It's going to fluctuate. It's going to give. It's going to be ups and downs. That's why it's really important that you stay grounded spiritually. It's really important that you stay grounded spiritually, because that's the only thing that you have to really hold on to really try to balance your life out. And we're not trying, we're doing. We all need to really try to our vocabulary. Just do it. Because you don't have time to really think about some situations in life. What's up, Jessica? What's up, B? Appreciate y'all tapping in. Y'all tap the screen. I want to be on y'all algorithm so we can spread these gems. I appreciate y'all tapping in and showing love. The conversation tonight is about balance. The thought process and the ideology of balance. I appreciate that, Jessica. Okay. I sent a few words up for him. That's no problem. Yes, but we're going to talk about balance tonight, y'all. We have to learn how to balance our life through changes, through everything else. And I jotted down a few notes. Went down a rabbit hole about it. And like I said, this is the part everybody don't like to hear. You can't balance your whole life at the same time. Because everything is seasonal. Nothing is permanent in life. Think about it, how life flows. Nothing is permanent. All good things come to an end. All good things come to an end. Nothing is always just permanently staying here. That's why it's important to stay balanced spiritually, so you don't go get too excited on things. You don't get too low on situations. You have to remain a solitude of balance. When God says, build your house on solid ground, he was talking about spiritually. Be spiritually anchored in him. Because no matter what goes on in life, you got to be able to roll with the punches. Because we can plan all day. We've all done it. I know I've done it. Made a plan and it didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to go. But it's okay though, because that's just how it was meant to go. But you remain balanced and you made the best of whatever the outcome of the situation was. Whether it was good, bad, or mid, There's a season, like I said, nothing is permanent. Everything is seasonal. So there are seasons of where your work dominates, where you got to hit the clock, get a few hours in because you got things you want to accomplish, trips you want to take, work on your house. Everything is temporary. It's a season for everything, even a season for balance. Work might dominate. So you have to lean more on this side of work and then, the family side, right? Because it's a scale. Like you have seasons of healing. When you've been through traumatic situations, traumatic relationships, traumatic childhood, and you decide to take a walk and work on yourself and do your shadow work, that's a season for healing. When you're trying to work through those problems within yourself that you're trying to, be the very best version of yourself with. So yeah, it's a season for work. It's a season for healing. It's a season for solitude. It's when you see people go in isolation where they feel like they're trying to better themselves. Like I said, isolation, all of that stuff. When you're doing things and you quiet enough to know it's to work on yourself eternally, that's your solitude. Sometimes you might not want to go out this weekend. Hey, you might take a month off just to focus on things you can do right in the house. So when you look at it like that, like I said, it's a season of solitude. You have seasons where your responsibilities outweigh your desires. You might make plans. I want to go to the game. I want to catch a Hawks game. I want to take a birthday trip. I want to buy my kids a new bedroom suit. But sometimes your responsibility is going to take over where you have to make sure you pay these bills, get these bills paid up. Then, okay, boom. Hey, I got to get my car service. Boom. Okay, boom. Now I got to redo this on my house. Or boom. Hey, I got to redo this on my schoolwork. I can't hang out with them this weekend. You say I got to study. You see what I'm saying? Your responsibility is a season for your responsibilities to take the forefront. It's a season for your responsibilities. It's a season for your peace. It's a season for your healing. It's a season for your work. And it's also a season for your joy, I'm pretty sure. It's a season for everything in your life. But you just have to be able to learn how to dance in the rain. You can't wait for the rain to stop because there's always going to be a storm of some sort. Or something that you're working on or something you're trying to improve on. Like, when you're going through those seasons, we all have done it. Being a single parent, having your own stuff. You have your own house, you working, paying your own mortgage, paying your rent. You know what I'm saying? You taking care of everything that you need to take care of. So you try to even everything out. And you know what? That leads to burnout. Trying to even everything out at one time, that leads to burnout. That's not balance, that's burnout. Nothing is able to be equal at the same time, nothing. Because always something is going to be lacking somewhere. But that's okay though. But that's why it's called balance. What's up, Ree? So balance comes through the ups, the downs, the ugliness, the prettiness, the majestic. Like any type of good moment, it's still going to require balance. We all have to have a tone of balance in our life. Because really we think it's balance, but it's really control. When you can't go with the flow and you can't go through life and roll with the punches and be like water, like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water through life. My dad told me you got to be like a duck in the rain, let the water roll down your back. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You just got to keep pushing through. You got to persevere. But we got to understand there's a fine line between balance and control. We feel like we mask it as balance, but we really want control because we can't worry about the things that we cannot control. That's first and foremost. You have to accept things for what they are. You might get high, it might get low, but you got to stay balanced. You got to stay focused, stay locked in. It says, a lot of people say they want balance, but they really want control. Because you think about it. Control wants predictability. We already know. We want to know what's going to happen ahead of time. We want to be on top of it 10 steps ahead. So we want life to be predictable so we can predict what's going to happen. But you only get that through experiences. Experiencing life. Different experiences. You be like, okay, I remember this feeling. I remember this thought process. I remember how I felt at this moment in my life. So that's when you get the predictability and familiarity. Even though it might be off the mark a little bit of what you've experienced, but it's still familiarity with it. It's definitely familiarity. But yeah, control wants predictability. Control wants predictability. When you want to control, you want to be able to predict what's going to happen. But balance is adaptability. Having a balance in life is being able to adapt to any situation. Just like I looked at a video, it was a reel today, and it said consistency is just being consistent in everything you do. When life is boring, you're just consistent. You get complacent like that, right? The same thing over and over again. Same thing over and over again. But persistence is being consistent in the middle of danger, trauma, a storm. Like when you got opposition against you, that's when persistence come in. And persistence is needed in order to be balanced in this life. You have to keep it balanced. You got to keep everything. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You have to be able to manage and have emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence to understand and how to discern certain situations. Like, you know what though? Boom. Okay. This cool. I can do this. Boom. Time management. But balance is knowing when to push. Balance is knowing when to pause. Balance is knowing that you let something fall back temporarily. You know, you might have to let something get behind. You might be like, okay, let me push that back a week. Let me do this and then I'll do that later. That's balance. You see what I'm saying? It's being able to manage life no matter what's a good situation or what's a bad situation. Whether you got a longer date to pay something, you got a leaser date to pay something. Like, it's all about maintaining balance throughout life and making sure you have a mental note and a spiritual note of, I know how far God has brought me. I know how far God has brought me. So let me stay focused and locked in. That's why I said when you going through these different times in life, man, you're gonna have different type of emotional experiences, man. You're gonna have a negative moment, you're gonna have a high moment, you're gonna have a low moment, you're gonna have an anger moment, you're gonna have a pleasant moment, you're gonna have a real sympathetic moment where you might need to let some tears out or something, and that's life. And being able to govern your emotions through all of this is balance. Having a solid spiritual foundation to govern your emotions. Called emotional intelligence. But yes, control is just control. When you want to control something, you want predictability. You want to be able to tell what's going to happen and be able to sidestep whatever comes your way because you don't want to go through anything. You want to be able to make sure every situation is good. But, you know, that's not life. That's not life. Like I said, balance requires adaptability. You have to be able to roll with the punches and adapt to any situation. You have to know when it comes to balance, you have to know when to push, when to pause, and when to let something fall back temporarily without guilt. Sometimes you might have to be like, okay, let me let that bill slide for this week. I'll pay it when I get paid. Let me get my son his football equipment. Or, hey, let me pay this water bill. I'll end up getting him something, get him a gift later on. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all about how your priorities is. It's all about a balance. Nothing is going to be able to be equal at the same time all the time. You might get one in a million when you're able to take care of everything and you still good. Sometimes you might not be able to. Sometimes you might have like, okay, let me hold off on that. Let me hold off on this. So, I got all the stuff I need to focus on. I don't need to hang out this weekend. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the balance of life and what you want to do with your life. It's all about how you value your peace and how you value your growth and your transformation in life. Because like I said, especially if you got kids, your kids are watching every step you do, every step you take. They know when the situation ain't good. We ain't got to tell them. We ain't got to put them in it because they feel their energy, right? So being balanced, man, listen, you might have to suck it up and be like, dang, I don't feel the best about this situation, but you know what, though, let me focus on my business. Let me go to work. Let me make sure my business, let me take time with my kids. Because, shoot, you may have been in a bad relationship, right? And then you're so emotionally tied to that relationship and things go bad, but you still have to remember to take care of your business. So that's balance. Your relationship may not be that good at the moment, but hey, you got your business taken care of. Your kids are good, right? That's balance. Because some things ain't going to work out, but you still remain in balance. You're able to examine your emotions. You're able to be emotionally intelligent and also still be able to process and manage your business and take care of your finances, make sure the bills paid, everything's taken care of. That's balance. Being able to operate in that space right there, no matter what's going on, yes. That's what it's all about. And a lot of times, too, about the emotional balance is not being calm all the time. It's okay if you're not calm all the time. It's okay if you have a feeling, if you're angry, if you're upset. It's okay because you're human, right? So for you to feel like if you can't express your emotions, that's not a good thing. That's self-betrayal for one. So emotional balance is feeling anger without becoming destructive. You can be mad about something, but you ain't got to crash out. That's balance. Discipline without faith. Hey, that's That's not a balance either. That's outside of spiritual balance when you think about it. Like you feeling sadness about something that happened, like you experienced death in your family, right? So you experience death in your family. You're saddened by it, but you're not drowning. You don't feel like you can't go on life because this occurred, right? That's balance. You've still been able to deal with death in your life, and you're able to process, still show up, and still take care of your business, what you need to take care of. Your responsibilities, your kids, your family, whatever else going on. You still have to make sure you show up every day and still do what you have to do. And that's a balance. Even you may not feel your best emotionally because of this, but you're able to still function in life. You still be able to function through death, through hard times, through sad times. Like, that's why I said spirituality is a good foundation. That's what we need to be grounded in, because even when you feel joy, even if something great is happening, you can't lose your discernment. You can't lose your focus in observation and observing everything around. You can't get too caught up in your joy that you lose and you miss your mark. So that's balance in itself. Like I said, don't get too high on the situation and don't get too low on the situation. You got to have that spiritual balance right in the middle. Like I said, because if you live by the cheer, like I said, you'll die by the booze. Definitely will. So they say, and I've done this. I suppress my emotions. When I was young, I used to suppress my emotions. I didn't talk about nothing, and that's not going to keep me imbalanced. That makes me imbalanced. That's not good. So people suppress their emotions aren't balanced. Yeah, we aren't balanced. Nope. But thank God I'm not in that place no more. So, like, people who let their emotions run them. Like, you know how sometimes people try you and you can't govern your emotions and spiritual intelligence enough to be like, you know, bro, this ain't even gonna work for me. Let me go ahead and I got kids I gotta get home to, or I got something else I got more important. I ain't gonna waste my energy on this foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that balance that you need. That's balance. Being able to do that, to understand that, hey, I got something better else I need to focus on. I don't need to entertain that. Like, even with the whole J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I know that was a big thing when J. Cole, he jumped in it. I mean, he jumped right back out. And I knew he had been catching a lot of slack, but it's okay to change your mind. You can feel like, hey, I want to take this step, but you realizing that no matter what path you take in this situation, it's not going to serve you any way, form, or fashion. It's going to be all negative. Yeah, you can change your mind and back out, despite what nobody say. That was balance. He didn't like what was being said. He felt the way. But at the same time, he was able to maintain himself and not get outside of his body and you know what I'm saying, make the best decision was best for him and his family, his kids. And we have to look at life like that. Sometimes you don't need to crash out. Sometimes you need to just understand for what it is and move on and do better. You have to maintain your balance no matter what's going on. No matter how bad the situation is, no matter how good the situation is, you must maintain your balance spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You got to. You definitely need to. But yes, emotional balance is, like I said, feeling angry without becoming destructive, feeling sadness without drowning in it, feeling joy without losing discernment. Like I said, you remain in a balance. You don't get too high on the highs, you don't get too low on the lows. Like I said, people who hold everything in, because I was one of those people. People who hold everything in, that's definitely a big imbalance in your emotions. And that's not a good thing. Because after it builds up, all of a sudden, one thing and boom, now you blowing up. Now you definitely all out of whack. Then it takes time to put yourself back together if you have a big crash out of holding emotions in. Because I used to do it all the time. Just build up, just build up, just build up. And then when it explodes, then it's just like, I should have spoke about this. I should have let this out. Though I said you can't get too high on the highs, you can't get too low on the lows. You got to take it on the chin and just keep going. It's very important. Like I said, you got to have confidence and faith. You got to walk by faith and not by sight. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, who's going to have confidence in you? If you don't believe in yourself, that you can have balance, and nobody else going to believe you have to have balance. So you have to believe yourself and know no matter how bad the situation get, hey, it's okay. It is what it is. Like I said, we can't worry about what we can't control. So emotional balance, emotional intelligence, that's just balance and self-governance. That's what it is. Balance is emotion and self-governance. when it comes to emotional intelligence, balance is nothing but emotions and self-governance, meaning it's okay to feel what you feel, but understand how to unpack them when you don't spaz out and crash out. Understand to make sense of why you feel this way. And you can survey it and convey it the way you want to, but just never get out of alignment with yourself. That's very important. So, spiritual balance. We covered emotional balance, so we're going to talk about the spiritual balance of things. So, I know when we go through tough times, I heard a lot of people say throughout my whole life, they've said, why God allowed me to go through this? What's up, 8? What's up, Twin? Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Y'all tap the screen and try to get on your algorithm on TikTok Live. I appreciate the love and the support. I appreciate y'all. Episode 45, we talking about balance, y'all. Talking about balance. So the spiritual balance is, like I'm saying, I think I've experienced people saying, why did God allow me to go through that? Why God allowed me to go through these hard times? God doesn't remove tension out of your life, because it's always a character building exercise. No matter what you go through in life, there's a lesson behind it that God wants you to learn. So he's not going to remove tension out of your life. He ain't going to put nothing on you that you can't handle. But you just have to tap in and get aligned with him to handle it. A lot of them things that we go through in life and we experience and we try to bounce back and balance our life out, man, it's meant for us to go through so we can awaken to what we deserve or what we don't deserve. Like, how do you know what love is if you don't know what love isn't? How do you know what happiness is until you know what happiness isn't? How do you know what trust is until you know what trust isn't? You have to learn, and you're going to go through things. Pressure makes a diamond. So either it's going to bust a pipe or it's going to make a diamond. And that's what we have to look at our life. Like, God is taking us through this pressure to see the mark, so we won't miss the mark, so we can basically not become, but remember who he made us to be. So it's always important for us, accept ourselves, love yourself 100%, lightness and darkness. Always important to do that. It's a balance. Life is a balance. You're balanced. You have a lightness and you have a darkness. So do you believe what God said about you? Are you going to accept what he said about you and how great he made you to be? He said we shall do greater things. So what you know in that should solidify really your faith and locking in on your spirituality where you can handle the highs and the lows. You see what I'm saying? It's very important, like, because in this world we have nothing else to hold on to but our spiritual foundation. That's all we have. And I know, man, listen, if I didn't have my spiritual foundation, man, I would have been going crazy by now. I ain't even gonna cap. I ain't gonna hold you. I promise you. Especially going through death, like I've been through, and it'll take a toll on you. But it's life in death, it's lessons in death, it's wisdom in death, and anything that's traumatic that's happened in your life, it's always wisdom behind it. It's always wisdom somewhere. You just gotta understand, and you just gotta get aligned with God. And everything else will fall right in place for you, I promise you. But the spiritual balance, people feel like being spiritually balanced is softness, but no, really it's order. People feel like just because you say something about you spiritual, they feel, oh, he's soft. No, it's order. It means you got your life in order if you're trying to be spiritually balanced. That way you can move in any situation. Nothing can pull you out of your character. But yes, so God is not going to remove you out of any situation that you've been through. He's going to be with you and watch you. Remember, the teacher's always quiet doing the test. He is. So he's teaching you stewardship within that storm. That's basically what the mission is. It's teaching you stewardship. No matter what level of life you're at, no matter what you got going on right now. If you're not a good steward of that, he's not going to elevate you to the next level. That's why we have to have gratitude. We have to have patience. We have to be grateful for everything that we have and what we are in life. Like I said, you have to be a good steward. You definitely have to be a good steward. You have to really make sure that you put in the work to be like, you know what, I'm going to make the best of this. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how crazy it looks, no matter how stressful and frustrated it is, I'm going to make the best of it. Let me find a silver lining somewhere. That's what's the most important thing. So faith without discipline is delusion. That's not balanced. Discipline without faith is a burnout. That's not balanced. So we can have faith, but we ain't willing to put in the work and not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. It's delusional. You have to put in the work. Talking without action, that, like I said, is delusion. Discipline without faith. If you so disciplined and you fasting, but you don't trust God, how is that going to go? Because if you can't trust yourself, how can you trust God? If you don't love yourself, how can you love God? You see what I'm saying? It makes sense? Because like I said, we one with him. He breathed his breath in us. He made us we're made in his image. Yes, faith without works is dead. Facts. Facts. Faith without works is dead. And discipline without work is a burnout. Grace without truth is chaos. You can't get grace to somebody lying. They ain't never chaotic and toxic. Man, listen. grace without truth is toxic. It's chaos. That's not balance. It has to be a perfect balance. Truth without grace is cruel. They know they be lying to you, but they want you to give them grace. Right. What is that? Tapped in over here too? Right. I'm just saying, like, truth without grace is cruelty. We have to understand, man, like, it's okay to not give grace to certain people because certain things, people cross the line. Some things are outside of our, we need to set boundaries up for us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, for ourselves. I appreciate you tapping in on both. Yeah, we have to have, I get it. You want to give grace to the things that you've been through and the people, man. I had to realize that because I used to give too much grace. Man, listen. It's okay to judge people who are trying to play with you, gaslight you, tear you down. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, God said we could judge people off the fruit that they bear. So if you did some low down slimy stuff to me, some shicey stuff, yeah, I'm judging you. Yeah, no, it's a no-go, baby. No. Yeah, you can judge. When it comes to somebody playing with you, yes, you can judge. You can judge that situation because it's a toxic situation when you know you want to did them the way they did you. Yeah. So you have to, that's why God gave us discernment. There was a lot of things we put ourselves in, but we have to take accountability. And we want to balance life also, we have to take accountability for the things that we allow people to do to us because we came into agreement with it. Everything that happened in our life is our fault. Everything we've been through in our life is our fault. We have to take accountability for it. Because even if you don't address something, that's out of balance for one, and then you come into agreement with it silently. It's nothing wrong with conflict. It's all about how you have conflict. It's healthy conflict. That's in the Bible. You can't get away from conflict. Speak your mind. Be you. Don't shrink for nobody. That's why it's so important. It's crazy how all these things I be talking about just tie in together. It be dope. Y'all be working, man. Y'all just don't get it. God be working, man. Like, yes. But yeah, so it's okay to judge somebody. You know, it's balance. It's a balance between it. If you're giving your all and they're not being honest and it's not helping the situation, okay, that's outside of balance. Like I said, truth without grace is cruelty. And grace without truth is chaos. You trying to give them grace, but there ain't no truth in them. So what you expecting? Man, we cannot change people in a sense of they have free will. Like God gave us free will. God gave them free will. So you can't change nobody. You can't convince nobody to love. You can't convince nobody to be here for you. God can't convince us to do nothing. He'll never go against our free will. We make our own decisions. God, like what that song said, hold to his hand, God's unchanging hand. You see what I'm saying? So when you hold on to God's unchanging hand, his hand is unchanging. So we the ones that change. That's why I said having a solid foundation spiritually, having a relationship with him is very important into having a balanced life. It's very important. Like I said, if you're going to live by the chills or you're going to die by the booze. It's very important. I had one, I was just, like I said, we were just on this. I wrote this down, relationships and balance. Now, everyone deserves equal access to you. Equal energy to everyone is self-betrayal. I'm going to read that again for the folks in the back in case y'all didn't hear that. Listen, now everyone deserves equal access to you. Everybody don't deserve your energy, like I told you. It's our fault when we allow these internet vampires, these gaslighters in our life, it's our fault because we don't use our discernment. God didn't tell us to talk to them. We got caught up in that slim waist. Yeah. Them Daisy Dukes was sitting a little tighter tonight. That would get you. You ain't look. God ain't told you about them Daisy Dukes. God didn't say nothing about them Daisy Dukes. You just be like, man, listen, come on. Yeah. That's what you be like. I'm saying for real. But that's, we act out of surface level. We act out of beauty. We act out of lust. We act out of infatuation. We act out of obsession. We act out of potential. Because how many people on this earth have potential and they don't live up to their potential because they're not willing to put in the work internally? You know what I'm saying? That's when your life is in balance. If you want better, you got to do better. When you know better, you do better. You can't know the truth and still do the opposite thing. Man, listen, your life gonna fall apart. For real, yes. If you know, like they say, when you know better, you do better. If you know better and you don't do better, yeah, that's your fault. That's because you choosing to remain in the realm when God is pulling you to elevate. But yeah, not everyone deserves your equal access to you. Your energy is precious. Your joy is precious. Your peace is precious. It's always important for us to lock in and maintain the spiritual foundation because when you know who you are, you're not going to allow certain things. When you understand what you carry, when you understand what God made you to be, when you understand that you ain't going. When that boy said, "I'm Mr. I ain't going," and then what Bobby Badillo said, "I'm Mr. I ain't going." All right. Right. On everything. Our eyes will get something every time. Man, what? All right. Man, listen. I'm telling you. Them summer nights, many nights. Hey, that's what I'm saying. We move because it's. I was just talking about this today. Man, you get the mood. Be a nice summer night. It ain't too hot. It ain't cold. It's just perfect. The moon sitting right. Ain't no cloud in the sky. The crickets rubbing their crusty feet together. Cricket, cricket, cricket. Man, listen. Them summer nights used to be something serious. I'm telling you. Man, listen. Every bad decision was made that night. A lot of bad decisions was made that night. A lot of bad decisions, yes. Them nights like that, man, hey, the sky's the limit. Hands in the air. Hey, that's how you be, man, listen, how you be feeling like you putting on for the city them summer nights. But yeah, that's when bad decisions happen though. When we on that type of time. Oh yeah, I bet it did. I bet it did. Man, listen. I already know. But yeah, balance in relationships is reciprocation and balance. I'm sorry. Reciprocation and boundaries. I ain't want to say that wrong, right? So I'm going to say reciprocation. I ain't want to say it wrong. It's reciprocity. Yeah, reciprocity. I ain't want to say it wrong. Reciprocity and boundaries. That's the balance in relationships. You have to have reciprocity and you have to have boundaries. Because if you have boundaries already, you're loving yourself correctly, you're going to have boundaries anyway. So when you meet somebody else who's loving themselves, which we all should love ourselves first when we love anybody, that's the only way you can do that. But when you know who you are and you loving yourself and you meet someone and they're loving themselves, everything comes together perfectly. So your love is going to grow by basically keeping that balance of reciprocity and boundaries. You got boundaries. You know, y'all already had that talk of what's expected. So whatever that person give, you're going to give. If I got $20, shoot, we got 10. If I got $5, we got $2.50. They go to Dollar General. Hey, listen, on all levels of life, man, it's a balance. I personally believe, and I've seen it so many times, man. Like, you look at the other social media platforms, you look at the videos you see, and you see a lot of people with a beautiful relationship and a beautiful marriage on social media. Some be, faking and flogging, but, some of them actually be genuine and be God sent and be a blessing. And so, oh yeah, most definitely, yes. So a lot of times, you're at work, you're experiencing life, come home, spend time with your person. You see what I'm saying? And you have to be so locked in and balanced with this person that nothing can come in between y'all. And I think that's what everything is missing in life now. Everything is boundaries. Everything is missing boundaries. Everything is missing morals. Everything is missing balance. And reciprocation is definitely what's missing. That's something that we all could really look at to probably improve on, most likely, because we all have room for improvement. If we don't feel like we have room for improvement, then, you know what I'm saying, we lying, we narcissistic, we arrogant. That's what I consider arrogance. If you feel like you have no improvement, you don't need to improve nothing in yourself, you feel like you just perfect, oh, okay. Yeah. But yes, balance in relationships is reciprocity and boundaries. If someone constantly destabilizes your peace, cutting access is not imbalance, it's wisdom. Yes. If you in a relationship, you in a marriage, you in a partnership, business-wise, whomever it is, family, cousins, significant other, kids, listen, if this person is destabilizing your peace, no matter what it is, who it is, cutting access is not imbalance. That's wise, because you must protect your peace, you must protect your joy, you must protect your energy. I don't care who it is. When you're on this journey and walking, everything is a distraction. Anything that goes against what God is telling you to do, what He's telling you to focus on, anything that can throw you off of your pivot, and it's not adding to your peace, but it's trying to deter you from your peace, cut it. It's not worth it. It's not. Because I know we've all had moments where we wasted time with people just off of the potential of what it could be. But then when you look at the situation, your life is imbalanced because you're giving more than you're receiving. And when you really look at the whole situation, it was only a situation because you showed up to the situation. Crazy, right? Man, listen. So I've been through a lot of imbalanced moments. And I'm pretty sure you guys have too. But it's always important to never self-portray yourself. That's why I said it's time out for shrinking. Live out loud, laugh out loud, love out loud. Keep your life in balance. Do what makes you happy. Do no matter what nobody else say. We shouldn't worry about what nobody say. Can't nobody judge nobody. We all need to focus on our own journey and work on ourselves. That's a very important thing. But yes, if someone is constantly destabilizing your peace, man, cut access. That is not imbalance. That is wise. That is wisdom, because you're protecting yourself. That would say we have to understand what we carry and who we are in God. You gotta understand who you are. If you understand who you are, you know what you're gonna tolerate. You know what you're not gonna tolerate. Like I said, pain is the catalyst for change. That's the ground part that we all forget. Pain is the catalyst for change. So when you go through those horrible, toxic, and traumatic situations in life, whether it's a child, whether it's with a parent, whether it's with a significant other, a girlfriend, boyfriend, you know what I'm saying, whatever, a job, pain is the catalyst for change. You can't pray to God about how God needs to deal with them. You ask God, what about me that I need to change where I can deal with them? Help me deal with them different, Lord. Change me. Help me change myself where I don't have to encounter this road again. Let me get past this roadblock. That's the whole thing. That's the whole gag. For real though. But this is the dark side. I was looking at the whole thing, like the dark side of balanced culture. People, you know, it's yin and yang. It's a light side of balance, and it's a dark side. Some people often use it as an excuse to avoid growth. I'm just trying to stay balanced. I want to be uncomfortable. A lot of people will run from growth because growth is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. You can't grow in comfortable places. Even flowers can grow out through concrete. You see what I'm saying? But growth is uncomfortable. Growth isn't pleasant. Growth isn't cute. Growth isn't rainbows and unicorns. Growth is ugly. It's messy. It gets really, really bad because you have to face the ugliness of yourself and you have to go through an ego removal. If you can't tame your ego, then you can't get on this walk. Because getting on this walk requires you to remove your ego. That's the main thing. That's very important that we need to understand that. Like, if you can't face yourself, then you can't get on this journey. You're never going to be in balance if you don't face yourself. How can you be balanced if you don't know how to face the ugliness of yourself and accept your ugliness of yourself as your best qualities and work on them? How can you do that? You can't. But yeah, I'm just trying to stay balanced. That's a translation. I don't want to be uncomfortable. Growth is inherently unbalanced at first. Yes. Yes. Growth is inherently unbalanced at first, because when you're going through growth, you already operating out of your ego. So when you operate out of your ego, how can you tap into your spiritual side if you're not going to remove your ego? So you got to go against yourself in order to face yourself. That's the only way you can operate out of balance. Because as long as you're not tapped into your spiritual side and you still sleep, you're not balanced. You're imbalanced. But balance comes, though. You got to be able to be balanced through everything. And nothing in your life is going to be balanced. Everything's going to be equal at the same time. That's not life. That's not realistic. Because some things are going to be up. Some things are going to be down. Some situations are going to be great. Some situations are going to be bad. Some situations just might be unexpected. You got to expect it and unexpected things happen. Like I said, when you make a decision on any part of your life, you can't control the outcome, but you control the action. So you can make the decision to take this road. But what happens on this road, you can't control it. You just have to see it through and trust God to walk with you. That's what we definitely got to understand. This is exactly what we need to do. Like, man, because I know God been on me on this walk, man. Listen, I've been, reading books, changing my whole algorithm of my life, the energy I take in, the energy I put out, man. Putting yourself first is always a beautiful thing. Putting yourself first is always a beautiful thing. Life gets more easier when you understand what you carry and you protect your peace and keep your energy to yourself. That's always a beautiful thing. There's always growth when it comes to that. But the thing about balance is your life is going to feel imbalanced. You're going to have moments when your life feels imbalanced, and that lets you know right there that you're growing. That lets you know that you're walking on the right path. If everything is all perfect, then just check and make sure you're on the right road. Check the GPS, check the maps. You know what I'm saying? Check and make sure you're on the right path. Because when you're trying to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. So the journey is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be heavy. It's going to challenge you in all areas, because when you elevate, every part of you is going to elevate. Every part of you has to be balanced. The lightness and the darkness of yourself. But the thing about it is we have to be able to acknowledge that and see that, like, okay, Lord, I'm praying for this elevation. Lord, I'm praying for this elevation. Okay, you ask for elevation, but he's going to elevate your life spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, and as work. That's all the good things. But you got to think about it. You have darkness too, right? So the dark sides of you are going to elevate. That's why they say new levels, new devils. That's why they say that. Because every level, your darkness is going to go with you every level. It's you. You can't get rid of your darkness. You can't get rid of your flesh. Your flesh is a part of you. But you're supposed to be so strong spiritually that you make your flesh your servant. You're supposed to be able to stand strong no matter what's going on, no matter what you're facing. Stay strong in your spirit. And that's a tough journey. That's not an easy task. That's not a small pill. That's a tall task. And it takes work. I feel like we never completely stop growing, stop healing, stop learning. You should learn to the day that you take your last breath. You should learn all the way through. You should grow to your last. You should elevate to your last. Like, it's always, life is a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And so we have to maintain our mind mentally, spiritually, and emotionally to succumb all of the tests and trials and tribulations going on in this world, man. It's very important. It really is. But yeah, a lot of people use the dark side of balance. Is people use the saying that, hey, I'm out of balance. I don't feel like it's balanced because they're not comfortable. They're using that as an excuse. That's the dark side of the balance. Because a lot of people don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to face themselves. You can meet somebody and they feel like you're everything that they prayed for until they get to that part where you require them to grow. They didn't read the warning labels. When you're dealing with a good woman or a good man, it comes with warning labels. If you don't read the warning labels, you're going to be caught off guard. You are. What Bossman Dilla said, Mr. Ain't going. Yeah. It's going to require you to elevate. Because when you think about it, when you're in a relationship, bro, you have to elevate. When you're in a marriage, you have to elevate. You have to be transparent. You have to reciprocate. It takes two to make a marriage work. And God said, two are better than one. So if it's a balance, you can't make a marriage work by yourself. Been there, done that. You can't do that. If it's not no reciprocity, ain't no reciprocation and boundaries in a marriage, it's not going to work. If you don't have any boundaries set and y'all can't reciprocate everything, then it's not going to work. Y'all got to give 100. That's a balance. 100. So in her weakest time, your 100 is covering where she's short. In your weakest time, her 100 is covering where you're short. So that's how you keep everything balanced. Like I said, everything is a balance. Life is a balance. But man, listen, this has been a real deep wormhole because this growth has been it's been nurturing, it's been healing, it's been a lot of realizations, a lot of confirmations from God, like reading more books, keeping my mind, you know what I'm saying? Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. What you put in and what you identify is what's going to project in your life. So if you're looking at negative, you speaking negative, you acting negative, power in the tongue, not only in the tongue, but how you carry yourself, how you treat your kids, all of that stuff. It's power everywhere. Everything you do, how you carry yourself, how you answer yourself, how you feel about yourself. That's power in the tongue too. Because our mind is so powerful. So if you think negative, it's going to show up in your life. That's why it's so important for you to change your thought process. Watch what you put in. Watch the people you keep around you. You could be hanging around the wrong people and your life ain't going to go up because you got the wrong people around you. But like I said, we all have things that have thrown our life out of balance, and then we just have to balance it back out just through experiences in life. So, you know, like I said, you can't wait till the storm over. You got to learn how to dance in the rain. You definitely have to learn how to dance in the rain. Another part is growth is inherently unbalanced at first. Yes, every level up disrupt your routine before it stabilizes. If you have a routine, every level up is going to disrupt it because your mindset and your ideology and your spirituality is going to change. So a lot of things you're not going to identify with when you're trying to elevate and you're balancing your life out. A lot of things you're not. You might have loved going to do karaoke. I'm going to use that as an example. You might love going to do karaoke every week. But now you're on a different journey. You have a different hobby. You like to read books. You like to go for walks in the park. And you really don't want people because you really on your growth era. So you really want to do this growth and stay out of the old pathways and the old routines of hanging out like you used to. So you kind of pull back and learn how to be diverse. You learn new things. You learn new interests. You're expanding yourself. Expansion is never comfortable. Expansion is always uncomfortable. What's up, Kevin? Appreciate you tapping in. As we heard, share the live. Y'all share, y'all tap the screen. I want to be in y'all algorithm. Welcome to Juice Word. This is episode 45. We just celebrated a year last week of Juice Word, so it's been a blessing. And we're on this journey, guys. Let's get it. The topic tonight is called Balanced. It is called Balanced. But I pray that everybody's having a good day. I pray everybody's receiving this too. Because we all have to maintain balance in our life. You know, life be lifing sometimes, man. Listen, life be lifing. But we have to maintain a spiritual balance. That's why I said, man, seek ye the kingdom of God, man. Get in line with him. Do the hard shadow work. Work on yourself. Because the only way you'll be able to experience a high vibrational level of peace, joy, and you just unbothered is working on yourself. Face yourself. The hardest decision is for you to make, to give things up. Give it up. Because I'm a firm believer, like the worst sin you can ever commit, no matter what we were taught, the worst sin you ever commit is self-betrayal. That's shrinking. That's not living up to the potential who God made you to be. And not wanting to. You fight against it. You are. You fight against it. You feel like we know, we let our ego take over. But the things that we pick up, that we identify with before we get to this point, that we feel like, oh, this is what I want to do when I grow up. This is what I do when I want to grow up. Okay, I want to do this. I want to acquire this. I want to be like this, have this mindset. But God never told us to be like that. We just picked up somebody else's identity. That's self-betrayal in itself. And I took a long time to really identify with that. Like, dang, well, yeah. You know, just be honest. It's self-betrayal. So when you going through your awakening and you're trying to seek ye the kingdom of God, bro, God wants you to be you. God ain't telling you to be one way because everybody's diverse. Everybody has different interests. Everybody has different interests. Everybody has different type of perception what people view them. So it's never just plain just black and white. It's always a gray area when it comes to everything because it's different perspectives to every decision and everything in life. Everything is subjective, right? There's dual meanings to it. So when we going through this and you're elevating, like you have to really understand that everything that you know, you have to unlearn it. Whatever you learn coming up, what the word taught you, the religious constructs, all that stuff got you out of balance. So when you unlearn it and you relearn it, you can be yourself, But just know that you're going to operate and think on a different level. God never said stop being you. He made you for a reason. Be you, love you, accept you. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Look what Shadur Sanders going through. That man just confident in himself. That man is just living his dream. He ain't causing a problem, but people are intimidated when you show up. Because your growth and your journey is going to intimidate some people if they're not doing the work themselves. But that's okay, though. They ain't important no way. They ain't important no way. So work on yourself, man. Make that hard decision. That's, and we got to understand, too. We always say, oh, I'm going to make the decision when I get ready. Ready is not an emotion. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is when you make that decision. Anything in life you knew that you're not ready for, because you have to learn, right? That's why you always have training on new jobs. You have to go through school to learn how to get a degree to get a certain job. And you think about it, you never, even when it comes to a relationship, man, every relationship is different. A healthy relationship requires more out of you than a bad relationship do. Because you're coming through, no matter how you feel, you fighting through and coming forth and being like, hey, I have a problem with this. Or, hey, I have a problem with that. Understanding the level of uncomfortable conversations. Well, my twin Abe said, deep conversations rule the nation. If we can't have a deep conversation, then we're not going nowhere. Your vernacular and your communication skills and my communication skills, if we can meet, that's both paddles to our boat. Us communicating and us deciding to show up every day. It's balance. It's balance. I might not be my best, but love is a choice. Love is not an emotion. Love is a choice. You make the choice to love this person every day, no matter what. When you experiencing life and every time something get bad, they pew. That's our fault. Like I said, our life was out of balance. Because people only loyal to their emotions for you. People only loyal to how they feel about you. As soon as their emotions change for you, they find something better. Oh, pew. You see what I'm saying? So that's not balance. When you're able to love yourself correctly, and you're honoring God because he made you. So if you're not loving yourself, that's a slap in God's face. He said you were good when he made you, light and darkness. So if you're not loving yourself, that's a slap in God's face. Definitely a slap in the face. That's why I said to me, that's the biggest sin, not loving yourself and not living up to the potential what God said for you to be. We all have to understand, man, listen. Once you get to the point to where you can sit in your life and you're at peace with everything, no matter how everything going, but you're able to be at peaceful, cool, calm, and collected no matter what the situation is, congratulations, you made it to your awakening. You've gotten your life balanced out. If you have to push a bill back, if you have to take your child and spend some money when you don't want to spend it, hey, but that's, your life is in balance. That's balance. Because you're being able to make decisions, proportions and ratios. You do time management. What's more important? What I need to take care of first, but it's a balance. You see what I'm saying? When you're able to put things off and still keep your life in order, and life flows like their feminine frequency. It's oceanic. It just flows. That's how life is. So what are you going to do? You going to flow with it like Bruce Lee? He said, be like water. You got to flow with it like him. Swag and surf on it. Surf the wave, man. Life is a frequency, man. It's all about the energy you keep around you and the energy that you're projecting out. If you want peace, keep peace with people around you. If you want ambition, you make sure you have people around you that has morals with their ambition. But like I said, I learned that your gift is going to make room for you. Whatever you decide to lock in on your journey, whatever you decide to do, God has already funded your dream all the way through. You just got to walk. You just got to trust. You got to have faith. That's what's always important. Because 3 things that's going to help your life in balance. It's going to keep you balanced. 3 things. Your spiritual balance, your emotional balance, and your mental balance. Spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Those 3 things, you have to maintain a balance with those 3 things at all times throughout life. You have to. So, after I just explained it, y'all exactly what balance isn't, this is the definition. This is the true definition of balance. Okay, so balance is the disciplined ability to prioritize what matters most in each season without abandoning your core values. I'm going to read that again. Balance is disciplined ability, is having the ability to be disciplined and prioritize what means the most in each season. What I just told y'all. This season is football season. It's your son's senior football season. Okay, boom. Hey, off the rip, first check. We getting his football helmet. We getting his equipment. We getting everything. His senior package. We get all that paid out of the way. Balance. Next week, we'll hop on these bills. We got another week you can spell. See what I'm saying? That's balance. That is balance. You prioritize what's important in that season. Your son is finna graduate high school. That's your priority, right? So you make sure that's good. Just like Christmas is a season, we focus on our kids, right? But sometimes we go overboard, though. We do. I'm the first one to say, guys, we go overboard. Oh, they're trying to pause me. Yeah, they go overboard with Christmas. They definitely go overboard with Christmas. I know I've done it before, too, so, hey. But that's prioritizing in that season. You make sure your kids are good for Christmas before you do anything else, right? You make sure them presents are bought in that tree and everything good what they need for Christmas. Because after this, that's it. That's it to birthday, baby. Or, you know, whenever you feel like buying something else, you feel like they deserve, you know, good grades, report card, etc. But yes, balance is the disciplined ability to be able to prioritize what matters the most in each season without abandoning your core values. So you have to balance. Whatever your core values is, your morals and values is, you maintain them no matter what's going on in life. So, my rich homie said, what would you do for some paper? That's not balancing. That's not balance. That's imbalance. If you're out doing whatever for money, that's not balance. That's not balance at all. But you got to look at it, though. You have to maintain your core values in order to be disciplined and the ability to keep your life balanced. It's okay, boom. I could. Nah, I ain't even participating in that. I'm good on that. You see what I'm saying? You might have to make decisions like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Making sure that you stay disciplined and you categorize how you want to move and how your finances is going to flow and how your life and how your family is going to flow. That's what balance is all about. It's not about equal time. It's not about a constant calm. And it's not about people pleasing. Keeping your life balanced has nothing to do with people pleasing. If that person don't want to talk to you because you focus on your goals and your kids and you ain't hanging out with them, that's not imbalance. That's wisdom. Listen, if anybody is mad at you for how you balance your life, you putting priorities and you're not hanging out as much as you used to, you're not doing all the old things you used to do, and you're trying to really elevate and get your life in order and maintain a certain balance, there's nothing wrong with that. Do that. It's always important to balance your life out. Always. Like I said, it's not about equal time. It's not a constant calm. Because everything is not. You might go to work 3 days straight at 7:15. But this day, something happened. You end up getting there at 7:45. But it's a balance, though. Because even though you didn't wake up on time, you still made it to work. You still made your money. You still did everything you need to do and got home. It's just a different routine. Instead of going straight, you went a different route. You went all the way around instead of going straight through the whole city. You see what I'm saying? If you call that analogy. But to really be balanced, it's all about alignment, stewardship, and discernment. Alignment, stewardship, and discernment. Because once you get in line with God, He's going to put you exactly where He needs you to be. You're on time. You're not late. You're on time. So once you get in line with God, you're going to have times where you have to be a good steward or wherever you are. No matter what walk of life you're in, no matter what level of life you're in, you have to have alignment. You have to be a good steward of it. And you have to use your discernment. Because if you're going to have a balanced life, you're going to have to decipher what's going on, what decision I need to make. Because this is chess. This is not checkers. You can't just move freely, just do whatever, because it's a positive and negative connotation to every decision you make. So protecting your peace and you doing what's in the priority of that season. Like I said, your peace might be priority for this season. Next, it might be, like I said, it might be work. You see what I'm saying? Next season might be your kids. Or it might be, you know what I'm saying? Like, your desires be put on the back burner for your responsibilities, especially with having kids. We desire to do a lot of things, but when our kids come calling, hey, Dad, I need, guess what? Pew! We'll put that desire on the backboard. We put it on the back burner. That's what it's all about. And that's the beautiful thing about it, though. It's definitely a beautiful thing about it. Because, like I said, the real definition of balance is the disciplined ability to prioritize what matters the most in each season without abandoning your core values. That's balance in life. You maintain your boundaries. You know what love is. You know what love isn't. You know who gaslighting. You know who not. So you're going to maintain your parameters and your boundaries. You're not going to be weak no matter what's going on in your life, no matter how the highs are high and how the lows are low. Excuse me, y'all. But the closing question I have for y'all, though, this is the closing question. And I've been thinking about it because I have to ask myself this question. I've had to. And this is a big, big question when it comes into organizing your life, or the importance and the things that's not important. Where in your life are you chasing comfort and calling it balance? Those late nights, you might be lonely, you sleeping by yourself, you want somebody there, you want a man, you want a woman. That's what you want, right? But you chasing that comfortability to replace that hurt, right? You chasing it, right? But just because you're chasing it, nobody that's going to give you balance. If you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else, so your life is going to be imbalanced, right? You want something major, but you're not being a good steward of what you have. You're not thankful and grateful for what God blessed you with. If anybody do anything for you, you know what I'm saying? Being prideful, that's a way of staying out of balance. You being too prideful. You being hyper independent. Yeah, I get it. You can't let everybody do stuff for you. I get it. But at the same time, God sent people to bless you. God used unconventional people in the Bible. So what make you think he's not going to use unconventional people to bless his people? Shoot, I'm unconventional. Man, listen. Lord, no, I got some stains, man, but I thank God for the cleanse. I thank God for the alignment and the awakening, man. I accept my darkness. I accept everything that I went through in my life. It's been my fault. And now I can say that my life is in balance. For once in my life is balanced. No drama, no mess, just peace. What's up, Book? Appreciate you tapping in, big dog. What's up, Book? But yeah, maintaining balance. That's spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You have to be able to prioritize in every season. Like I said, this season you might have to pick up a few shifts. You might have to hit that goal and get your student loans paid off, get your credit cards paid off, pay your car note down, pay your house off, pay your car off. It's a season where you might have to grind like that. It's a season where you get to tap into your desires and enjoy life, where you're good, you're not worrying about nothing. Then you're going to have seasons where you need that secluded time, the isolation time, when you can heal, when you can learn from what God is showing you. And he can talk to you and he can make you quiet the outside noise for you to elevate, to show you what you've been missing. Yeah, you're on the right path, but I need you to turn 90 degrees to the left. You see what I'm saying? I need you to turn 25 degrees to the left. It's not that you're not on the right path, but sometimes you got to reposition yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's what alignment is. Like you get your tires balanced and rotated. It's out of alignment. Your car be doing like this. Your steering wheel go to the left every time you let that motor go. You out of alignment, right? So you got to let God balance and rotate them tires. You got to let God balance and rotate them tires to get your alignment. Get your front alignment. Get your tires balanced and rotated. Get your oil changed. You got to let God put you on the right, but you got to let him align you. You got to let him just come in and be like, hey, you want something to drink, Jesus? You know what I'm saying? You got to be like that. You got to be able to accept change because nothing stays the same and nothing lasts forever. So balance is very, very important. But yeah, I had went down a wormhole about this topic all week, man. I was just like, what is balance? Because you try to look at change that oil, right. You try to look at yourself in your life and try to make improvements in some things in life, man. And God is really working on you with this, like with life as it balance. Man, listen, some things in life you can't acquire until you get to that point to where God aligns you with somebody. Because, like I told y'all, it's a balance when it comes to us. Us humans need to be balanced. We can't be complete without each other. So let's stop all this men versus women war stuff. It's a balance. We need each other. That's the most important thing, man. We need each other. Black love, we need it back. Black love, we need it back. We need each other, man. It's very important. Very important. It's a balance. Because a man is not complete until he puts that rib back what God took out of him. You see what I'm saying? That's just law of the land. Ain't no way. I was one of them men. My life was out of balance, and I felt like because I've been through my traumatic events in life that, you know what, I don't trust nobody. I just want to focus on me and my boys. I don't need balance. But I was wrong. And I can sit right here and say I was wrong. Boy, I was so wrong. I was super wrong, man. Listen, I was wrong. Because you realize that some things, God is not going to allow you to come to your way until you, like you said, you find with the wife. Like you said, a man finds a favor. A man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. God grants a man favor. You know what that favor covers? Everything in your life that you're trying to accomplish without that. Man, listen, I've seen videos of men who felt like they had it together. And was like, oh yeah, I bought my first house, I'm doing this by myself, my kid's good. But when you look at it, bro, the most peaceful men are with their wife. They've been there for like 80 years, bro. They have, for real, man. And you look at it, and you talk to these older people who's been through life, and they're able to keep a balance and find balance with a spouse, and their life is balanced out, and life is just flourishing, peace, love. Shoot, my auntie and my uncle like that. Been together forever. Life just peaceful and flourishing. My uncle wouldn't be no complete man without my auntie. My auntie wouldn't be no complete woman without my uncle. Off the top. It's a beautiful balance. It's a divine synchronicity. Y'all know about that divine talk, that divine masculine, divine feminine. That's the only way it's going to work. It's even details when it comes to that, picking a person. But I said out there to say, man, listen, life is a balance. It's all about balance. Be true to yourself. Feel what you feel. Your feelings are acknowledged. Your feelings are important. You deserve to be heard. That's for everybody out there watching. You deserve to be heard. Your feelings are valid. You are valid. You don't need no outside validation. God already validated you when he made you. You woke up this morning. You validated, right? Oh, okay. If you looking at this right now, you validated. Because God allowed you to see 950 on the first month of the year, supposedly. But yeah, he allowed you to see this video. So this live, you on this live with me, we just on outside looking in and the inside looking out. Man, listen, it's all about balance. Take a moment just to think about that tonight. I know it's Martin Luther King Day weekend. You know, everybody about to turn up, everybody having a good time, but this is the time that we need to take time to really evaluate our life to see what's in our life. Is our life balanced? And what do I need to do to move out of my life in order for my life to be balanced? So what do I need to do? What do I need to step into? Right, book, supposedly. What do I need to step into for my life to be balanced? What do I need to do to balance my life out? Because whether you selling your soul for fame and fortune, or whether you giving your life to Yahweh, what are you willing to sacrifice? Everything in life requires sacrifice. You can't go nowhere in life without sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice to ensure that your life is peaceful, loving, joyous, and balanced? But like I said, I'm going to leave y'all with this question before I tap out. I'm going to leave y'all with this question. Where in your life are you chasing comfort and calling it balance? Now that's the $1 million question. Food for thought. Y'all have a blessed evening, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. This is episode 45 of Jules Word. Y'all stay tuned for more content across all social media platforms. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Y'all be blessed out there. Y'all be safe out there. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hey, y'all throw a few back for me too, all right? Peace.